Well, good afternoon. This is activist Teddy Parham, and I'm coming before you with an interview with WB, an activist, an entrepreneur, and a mighty fighter for the freedom and the rights of the homeless. He will give us an update on what has been going on with the homeless crisis since the closing of the Freedom House and the so-called Conrad Center. He's going to let us know what's been going on. Go ahead, WB.
Good afternoon. I'm W.B. Braxton Bantu, a.k.a. Scout Leader Bad, an advocate and unsung hero for the poor on the streets. And I was speaking at City Council this past Monday, July 8th, 2013, between 8:30 and 8:45 p.m. About the impending crises in the fall of the Freedom House. And the first issue was that we need a warming station, and the warming station could possibly be in the lobby of DSS, but DSS would want extra money if they were required to alter the schedule from the 8 to 5 Monday through Friday to 6 in the morning to 6 in the evening, Mondays through weekends, including major holidays. A warming station would be needed because when Caritas and 6 Mile Zion, assuming they're still doing the overflow this year, because I've heard that Reverend T. Nelson may not renew the contract, would turn people or guests out at 6 a.m. in the morning, and Caritas is usually like 7 or 7:30 a.m. in the morning, and there's nowhere to go to get it out there autumn cold or the winter cold when winter returns. And usually be a warming station at the Conrad Center. And the Conrad Center is about to close its doors finally when the last entity moves out, which will be Central Intake. And Central Intake is supposed to move out sometime in the month of August. And they do not know where they're going to relocate to. And we don't know what church or building will host the cold temperature site if 6 Mile Zion does not renew its contract. And we need transportation. Peter Prizio, the CEO or executive director of the of the Daily Planet, has offered to employ a 15-passenger mini shuttle van, or bus rather, if he's able to obtain $25,000. And also some churches like First Baptist at 2709 Monument Avenue and Alpha and Omega at 2944 West Marshall Street have vehicles, and they would want some money to pay the drivers for the fuel, for the oil, and tires, and so forth. And these are just some of the impending issues to come. Someone has brought to the attention when we had this meeting at Ashwaubenon and any future president this past Sunday, July 7, 2013, from 2 to 3:45, that Caritas may not be able to add on an extra site. They have site 1 and site 2, one for the men, one for the women. And there's a possibility they may lose one of those two sites and combine the site to make it site 1, to make it a co-ed site. So the situation for the future of the poor in the city of Richmond who are dependent on shelter before autumn and winter returns seems rather bleak and gloomy. And this is an example of Ephesians 6:12. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places. And Ecclesiastes 8:7. Man has dominated man to his injury. So this is not just a political battle or economic battle, but it's a spiritual battle as well. That's all I sadly have to share, and no one has any answers about what can be done to divert this impending crisis. So I'm in a rather grim mood. And the situation does seem dire. I have no more to share except thank you for allowing me to share. And we can all send our prayers to our Heavenly Father that some of us know is Jehovah in our names. Thank you. From Scout Leader Bat.
WB, I want to ask you some questions because if they're not going back in the meeting room or they're going back in it, I want to ask you these questions.
Yes.
What? Let's see if I can get mail on here a little bit. What? Tell me about the way the showers are arranged, the way the people keep their bodies clean when they're homeless. How do they do that? What is going on with that?
There are two places that people can go for showers. One is First Baptist Church at 2709 Monument Avenue or Park Avenue in the Boulevard. That'd be quite a ways to walk if one doesn't have bus fare for the GRTC bus or a bicycle. And
Excuse me, how far do you think that is if you had to walk now? Put it in miles.
It was probably like close to 1.5 miles or 2 miles, depending on where one would walk to. And the hours are Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 12. And if you're not there by 11:30, you could be told we have to turn you away because we don't have any more tickets to give out because there's more of a need for showers during the warm season. Of course, people should shower any of the seasons, but it's more of a demand. And also people who camp in that area, say under the bridge or sleep in doorways, are likely to get there first, to get the coffee and the pastries, and to get the shower, and to get into the clothing room to get a change of clothes. Now the Daily Planet is not as far away. That's at 517 West Grace Street. Their schedule would be Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 8 a.m. in the morning to 11 a.m. And someone has requested, could they return to having their afternoon schedule? And we were told at the last community meeting, which is one coming up this Monday, at the Daily Planet 517 West Grace Street from 1:30 to 2, that because of the budget, the afternoon hours were deleted. And that was the time the Daily Planet did do showers Mondays through Friday, morning and afternoon. So it's a question of the budget. And I've invited Ms. Parham to attend the upcoming community meeting for this coming Monday, the time from 1:30 to 2. That would be one of the issues about the shower laundry. The other one would be about the $25,000 that the CEO or the executive director, Peter Prizio, is requesting or requiring $25,000 to employ a 15-passenger shuttle bus. And City Council has been informed about that. The question, when I sign up again, probably July 22nd, so I can at least speak in the month of August, which would probably be August 24th, to continue this campaign about asking money from City Council for the Daily Planet to employ the mini shuttle bus, and for money for DSS if they're willing to alter their schedule from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. to 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Mondays through weekends, including major holidays.
Now, let me ask you something about that shuttle with the Daily Planet. I know they had a shuttle bus before. The city and other places had donated money to pay for the shuttle. Tell us what happened to the shuttle bus.
As I understand it, Freedom House had a liaison who would cap up or R-cap, and the van was not, there was no financial attachments to that. But now that Freedom House has fallen, that's a question. There probably won't be a Chevy van to pick people up wherever the cold temperature shelter will be this year.
But look, you're talking to me about a 16-passenger van, and I know exactly what that is. I used to drive. But the van that RCAP or CAPUP has is not a 16-passenger van. That is a smaller minibus. So, to me, people have been paying them for a 16-passenger van when in fact they were getting a minivan all the time. And because the van size, that left a lot of people out in the cold waiting for the bus to do repeat trips. My thing is, if they were given $25,000, or no matter what the amount is, then somebody should have had a van as prescribed in the contract or whatever they signed concerned. I'm just concerned that money is being put out there and it's not being allocated where it should be. Now, when I asked other people about the minivan, they told me that the Daily Planet had individual drivers that took the vans when they wanted to use the gas that was purchased to haul the people around. They did what things that they wanted to do. And eventually something happened, and that caused the loss of the shuttle van. Now, my thing is, as important as this van is to all of these needy people, I'm talking about handicapped, crippled, amputees, no legs, half a foot, high blood. These people are walking over 10 miles a day. And there should be transportation. There should be transportation and social services daily to take the people down to the Conrad Center, to walk from 900 East Marshall down to the Conrad Center. I think I pulled it up. It's like 10 miles up and back. That's a lot of walking, especially if you're carrying all the bags you own in the world, everything you own in the world. How does going up and down that hill affect your health? What has it done to you?
Well, I have a bicycle, but a bicycle is a fair weather vehicle. I mean, fair weather is self-explanatory, but if it were pouring out raining, I wouldn't be riding it. But to get to short distances, then I'd be drenched, and there's no place to dry your clothes or to change clothes if you're drenched. Mm-hmm. If it snowed, you wouldn't be able to ride it too effectively. Mm-hmm. Now, in the sweltering heat, you just have to drink bottles of water to stay hydrated. But some people don't even own a bicycle. And mm-hmm. sometimes it's hard to keep a bicycle and be out on the streets because there are people who will vandalize your bike or rip your tires off or rip the bike off. Mm-hmm. And people who are on the streets who have bicycles, who have small cables or small link chains, usually have their bicycles ripped off or stripped. And there's some problems that don't seem to have good solutions to them because being out in the streets is problematic. And problematic meaning you don't have any place for yourself, or if you have a partner or a significant other, or if you have anything of any value, including a bicycle, a cell phone, a radio, and so forth, how do you keep it safe? And I don't know how to answer that. But as far as for the transportation, that problem could be resolved if City Council looses $25,000 to the Daily Planet for a mini shuttle bus that would hold more passengers than the Chevy van that RCAP had, which was the passengers could be crowded or crammed in with their luggage, which would be like 9 passengers. And
tops.
Yeah. And then the van had to make 6 or 7 trips to 6 Mile Zion to transport its passengers from 6 Mile Zion 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. in the morning to the Conrad Center, which is located 1400 Oliver Hillway across from the city jail. And it's a steep hill to walk down to the Conrad Center and to walk from the Conrad Center. So either way, it's a hardship, whatever the season is. And some people do have a backpack and strap bags. Some of the women have suitcases with strollers on them. So either way, it's a hardship. But right now, the impending crisis I'm foreseeing, that won't be a warming station when autumn returns in the month of October, because if central intake moves out, then the Conrad Center will be closed finally and probably reopen up for some business. And we don't know where the Conrad Center central intake will relocate to. We don't know if Reverend T. Nelson will mean it this time that he won't renew the contract, and where will the cold temperature or overflow site be relocated this autumn and winter. And we don't know if City Council will loose the $25,000 or the amount of money that DSS want to alter their schedule from 8 to 5 Mondays through Friday to 6 to 6 Mondays through weekends, including major holidays. I'm sorry I don't have any other solutions. It lies in the hands of City Council, but the money and for our higher power.
Well, WB, don't be sorry. I know you've been out there scrambling for years. I just don't know what to say. But I know we need to lie the problem out there so people would know what's going on. People would know what they can do. Now, this is one of my concerns. I want to raise awareness. I want people to bring in camping equipment, camping cook stoves, tents, blankets. We need to start getting people ready for this, because I think we're going to have a fast and hard winter. And when it comes, anybody that's not prepared will be lost in the upcoming winter season. And the city knows that.
Now, people probably, if they have such items to donate, probably could bring it to Monroe Park on Saturdays and Sundays. There are churches that bring food and beverages. Say for Saturday and Sunday, there are breakfasts between 8:30 and 9, Saturday and Sunday. And then there are churches that bring lunches from 10 a.m. to about 2 or 3 p.m. at Monroe Park. That's between Laurel and Franklin Street, or Franklin Street and West Main Street.
But if they bring the things, where will the people carry them? They got enough to carry. They won't be able to carry and lug these things around. We need somebody with some land to allow the people to use the land temporarily, to set up tent and temporary housing so that these people can get stable, so they can get their lives back together. This is a horrible situation, and I know from my heart of hearts that it was like handed down to the city from our local government. Our city officials have done it. They're all living well, getting $1,000 bonuses here, $1,000 there, $5,000 there. Something is wrong with you. If you can't see it, just know something is terribly wrong with you, Dwight Jones, and your administration. You have done everything you could to cut these people out, to take their lives from them. But you didn't give them life. And you will not be the one to take it from them.
Isn't that ironic? He's a clergyman.
Mm-hmm.
And has a doctorate degree.
Mm-hmm. And even though Woody is down in jail, the executioner, you lying, cheating, and stealing, killing all these innocent people, you're going to have to pay too, Woody. You're going to pay.
Or perhaps those who are running against him may be victorious over him.
Well, we pray for that victory because at this date and time, the only one that I would vote for that's running against Woody is Chris Dorsey, my boy. And you all have done everything you could do to kill that little white man. You done choked him, beat him, knocked his head up against the flagpole. The guy that owned a defended newspaper, I seen him knock him down in Monroe Park. They have used a lot of violence. J.C. Wilmore, with your fat ass, you picked a young brother by his throat and was choking him, beating his head against the flagpole. And you a lawyer. And the police wouldn't do anything. And then when a young man says, they're hurting me, I said to him, go buy you a gun. Get you a permit. Get you a license. And let one of them run up on you again and see. So be it. It is what it is. And he's not mentally retarded. You all have sent the FBI and the Secret Service to his home like he's a criminal, when in fact you all are the criminals. You helped kill my boy Savage. All y'all gonna pay for that. You gonna pay for that. That white boy committed suicide. He was so hurt when he realized what crooks and thugs he had been working with all the time. And he knew we couldn't even get you all out of office like talking about it. Rick killed himself when he realized that no good pieces of shit he was working with, you wouldn't put him on the school board. I think he ran for General Assembly or another office. You all wouldn't put him in there. Y'all black asses used that white boy up. You used him till you used him up. And wouldn't even put him in the office so he could make some of his money back. I do know that he put millions of dollars into the school system. The only white boy that I knew that had enough courage and balls big enough to care more about our blacks than ourselves. Rick did it. You wouldn't even invite him on the school board. You wouldn't even elect him to the school board. But every time he worked on your campaigns, and you won, and you got in, and you screwed that white guy like he was a female. You raped him. Now you done caused him to commit suicide. He was trying to get out, and you demons knew he was trying to get out. He was going to expose you for everything you were worth. So, did he commit suicide? I don't think so. Could he have been murdered? I know so. We need to get a judge to dig his body up, exhume his body, and look for traces of anything wrong. Rick did not commit suicide and leave his two beautiful teenage daughters here for you guys to screw over. I'm asking for a federal investigation into the suicide death of one Rick Savage. He was not a savage. He was a big man with a big heart, just taken advantage of and used by a few Negroes that should still be in the field somewhere with a whip across the back. I'm over and out. This is Teddy Perham coming live to you from the City Library downtown on Franklin Street. Remember this. It could happen to you. It could happen to your family. It could happen to your loved ones. The color of your race has nothing to do with anything. Poverty does not discriminate. Remember that. You got anything else to say?
No, I'm curious what that looks like.
And why you do all that on the film? God darn it. This is not going to be good because I didn't